What's up, guys? Rip It Red here. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We are going to be looking at market trends for the week of April 22nd, see where cards are at. So let's get to it. All right, so we are going to be using TCGplayer. Great article written. You can see it here if you go to the site. You can look at all this information yourself. But we're just going to go through this on today's video, kind of look at what cards are kind of holding value and which ones are on the rise right now. So to start off, we have the Mew EX. Mew EX is a beautiful card I have. If you see this card in person, it is absolutely stunning. You have some of the original 151. You have Diglett, Oddish. You have Bellsprout in the background, Rattata, Poliwag. So you got some like really great original 151 along with the shiny Bubble Mew that is floating around above them. The artwork is what really sets itself apart for this card. And when you see it in person with the texture and everything, it's unbelievable. It's just a really good card. Right now, it's sitting at 317, 318, somewhere in between there, which I personally think that's kind of low. I'm not really sure why Mew hasn't always been a more popular card, but that's not for me to decide. It's just where the market's taking it. So Bubble Mew, I think, kind of has gotten what it's deserved, and it's come up sitting at 318. We can look at 3 months. So if you look at the beginning of into January, beginning of February, you'll see that on some of these cards, especially when the single card market really started to pop. Hit its high about 420, right around there, and then you've seen a gradual decline here to this week and down to 319. So it's dropped about $100 for the raw version. But if we go back even 6 months ago, you could get this card for $191. And if we go back even further, I want to say it was last September, October timeframe. Yeah. So we're looking at the end of September, beginning of October. This card you could have gotten for less than $100. So 7 months ago to now, you're seeing 3 times your return, which is, I think, a really great return. Beautiful card, especially if you check it out and it's in really good condition. You can send it in and get a high score on it. You're going to see a great return. Beautiful card. If you can get this for a deal, I don't know if I think it's going to kind of plateau, sit around 300, maybe 250 to 300, somewhere in there. But I think as the years pass, this card's only going to go up. Next up, we have Team Aqua's Kyogre EX. So this came out of Double Crisis. This set came out 10 years ago. Yeah, 2015. You see it right here. Came out in 2015. This card came out 10 years ago. In this set, you can go and look and see that it's a different type of set, but these are the only 2 cards. And you'll see Team Magma's Groudon EX that will be in here as well. You'll see that because these are just cards that are moving. Obscure cards. They aren't massive. Now, they're chase cards in the set, but they're cards most people haven't even heard of, and the artwork is great on them. That's stunning artwork. You have multiple Pokemon on there with the emphasis on the Kyogre. And going back 3 months, same as the Bubble Mew. 216, 3 months ago. But let's go back. So this is a 10-year-old card. Let's go back 1 year. So on this 1 year chart, you could have gotten this card for $100. Now it's sitting at 315-ish. And I think this is only going to go up. So you see over the course of the past year, just the steady rise. 6 months ago, steady rise in this card. Peaked a little bit April 7th to April 13th at 330. But then it's come down by $14. And I think it's going to I think this is where the new norm is for this card. Will it come down a little bit lower? Maybe a little bit, but once again, like the Bubble Mew, probably sitting around 300, maybe between that 250, 300 range. I think the days, unless the market just completely crashes, we're not going to see $100 again on this card. Moving down, we can see the same thing. Groudon EX. Groudon is, you have 1 year, same. This one's a little bit more turbulent. You have it flatlined for a while, and then you really, it starts to rise. So around this November, October 2024, you really see it start to rise here. Little bit of a dip around the March area, and then another rise. Looks like it might be flatlining a little bit, but this is on pace with the Kyogre EX. I think it's going to kind of sit in this area around that 250, 300 price point. If that's something you want to get into at that price point, these cards aren't really for me. I think they're awesome looking cards, but something I would pass on at that price point. But I think that's a good entry. If the hobby continues to stay as strong as it is and continue to grow, especially with card collectors, these are two cards I believe we're going to continue to see rise. And look at the obscurity here with this entire set. There's no other card on here that's over $5. Like, it's these two cards, and then we're down to Team Magma's Great Ball, looking at just under $5 for market price. So it's these two cards are bust. Down to the Gengar Mimikyu GX. So this comes from Tag Team. So on these Tag Team cards, Latios is the big one in that set. There's another Mimikyu Gengar card that is over this one, but this card, I think it's the popularity of Gengar that we've been seeing, and Mimikyu is a popular Pokemon, but I like this card, the contrast, and I think that's what I like visually about it is you have the purple, the slightly deeper purple of the Gengar, and then the red of its eyes and its mouth on that purple background. And then you have this yellow Mimikyu that really separates itself from the Gengar. I think they chose two psychic type Pokemon and two ghost Pokemon to put next to each other that would really show the difference. I think that color dynamic really pops on this card. But same thing, we'll go back 3 months ago. You get this card for less than $100. This card's sitting at almost $200. You didn't, so a year ago, you're not seeing a huge difference from a year ago. It was sitting at $65 until, let's see when it really started, around mid-March is when it really started going up in price. And it's just been a steady climb since then. Like, look at this. We're looking at March 30th, 137, 138, 147, $20 jump, another $14 jump. So week by week, we're getting some gains. This is an almost $200 card right now. And it's not really showing any signs of slowing down. It's just gradually climbing and climbing and climbing. I think we're going to, once again, the older some of these cards get, the value is going to rise, especially the rarity of a card in good condition. Speaking of an older set, we have Vaporeon EX and Delta species. This is a 20-year, this card is 20 years old. I love this card because this reminds me, this is like the original Holos. You just have your basic Pokemon card, little box, simple animation / illustration in the box, and then it's holographic. And I think this is a beautiful card. It's stunning. These cards, especially the original 3, are going to be, of the evolutions, is going to be, they're becoming more and more popular. But looking at this card, just going back a year ago, we can see a lot of flatlines. So this is making me think, I don't know the numbers, how many have been sold, what the real movement is on this, but seeing this flatline, 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 spike, flatline, flatline, a jump and more flatline, to me is showing that this card isn't moving a ton, but it's a 20-year-old card. More than likely, not enough that are in really, really good condition that are worth putting that money towards. I'm looking at this one. I'm even interested. If I could find one of these in almost after reviewing it and being able to get my hands on it and looking at it and think that I have one that's in really, really good condition, that 150, we're at almost 185, almost 200. I believe that this is a card we're going to see keep going up as the rarity of card condition and time passes. I don't think evolutions are going anywhere. Next, we have the Umbreon VMAX. Now, this is out of Brilliant Stars. This is Trainer Gallery card. This card doesn't really do it for me. I know Umbreon is a massively popular evolution. It's a really cool looking Pokemon. I do love Umbreon. I think it's a great Pokemon. I think it looks great. This card, I don't know what it is. It's almost like there's too much going on, but not enough. And that's just my personal preference. But this particular Trainer Gallery of Umbreon VMAX doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I think it'll hold its value based on it being an Umbreon and that being the most popular evolution. But we can go back even 3 months ago, like this height of these singles. This one has had a lot of ebb and flow. So we saw a stark rise back in December, the end of December, where most of the stuff where everything's been taking off at the beginning of the year. It's gotten crazy. All these singles are going up in price, and there really hasn't been much change. So we look right now, it's sitting at about $78. And then but we had that huge jump up in January at the beginning of the year up to $79. So it shot up, and then it's been holding for the most part pretty steady for about 4 months now. This is probably the new standard. Looking at this chart, we see some dips and stuff. 1 month I don't really like to go out. It's not really going to give you a ton of data. But low card, year ago, I mean, not even a year ago, you're talking 6-7 months ago, you could get this card for $30. So if this is something, imagine being able to get the hype of Prismatic Evolutions and all the evolutions. That big push right now has definitely bumped some of these cards up. I believe this is one of those. This data from the past 6 months, or at least 4 months ago. So for the past 4 months, I would say it looks like it's just kind of leveled out around this $75 to $80 price point. So I think still not a bad card to get. It might go up. This one's it's hard to say with Umbreon, because for me personally, investing in this card for $70, not for me. If I could have gotten it at 30, yeah, great. But it's hard. It's also hard to judge on these VMAX cards when you're looking at them and you're going to send them in just because of the way that they blend into the border. It's really hard to tell what kind of grade, and these cards can be harder to grade. So when you send these in, it's kind of unsure what you might get on it. So I don't want to say I avoid the VMAX cards. There's some beautiful VMAX cards. But it's hard for me to look at this card if I was to see it in a shop and really judge it, unless there's like whitening and scratches and dents and stuff. You can see all that, but it's really, the centering would be difficult to really pick out. You'd really be going off this bottom border and the left border here. You can kind of play with the words and around the writing and stuff up here in the corners, but it's still difficult. Okay, moving on to probably one of my favorite cards ever. So Stellar Crown, somewhat of a newer set. This Squirtle, so a year ago, so this set came, yeah, so you're looking at, you're not even going to have data of going back a year ago. But in August, when this card was selling and moving, we're looking at, it was already at $49. So you're looking at a $40 card. It is at $60, so a $20 rise. It doesn't sound significant. Once again, at the beginning of the year, you saw a big jump to 80, a lot of pushing. I think what's holding this card back is it being a newer card in a newer set, that you have a lot of collectors that are ripping these open and immediately sleeving them and taking care of them and sending them in for grading. So it's harder. If we go back to that Vaporeon, we'll go back to that Vaporeon, but you go back to the Vaporeon, this is a 20-year-old card. There were, yes, there was collectors. There was still people opening the packs, but it's not like it is today. I remember being a kid when I was opening these cards in the 90s and trying to take care of them, but they were going in a sandwich bag. Like, I didn't know anything about penny sleeves or top loaders. I was just doing my best, and I have some of my original that are in decent shape, but they still have like hollow scratches and stuff because they were in a sandwich bag. That's what was protecting them. But a lot of people, I think, are getting these newer sets and these newer cards, and they are taking care of them, which is great. And that's great as a collector, and that's what you should be doing, is taking care of the card. But if you're collecting for the value to like skyrocket and go through the roof, I think it's going to get harder and harder as these cards kind of hold their value, because it's not really a condition rarity thing anymore. I think it's a popularity thing when you start running into some of these newer cards. Now, that doesn't say that years down the road, Pokemon's going to start to die off, so you're going to see in 15, 20 years, there's not as many of these Squirtles that are in great condition. But I do love this card. I love how he's using water gun and he's shooting at the Pidgey that's sitting on the balcony ledge there. This artwork is just stunning. You see the glass right here, the artwork where it's kind of faded, so kind of showing like there's some texture to the window there. It's not the same as everything else. The sun shining through, creating the shadows, the water with the reflections in it. This card, it's just a really fun card. It's very nostalgic for me. It reminds me of my childhood. It also makes me think of the Pokemon, what it would be like in the real world if you just had it sitting on your balcony. I don't have a pool, or I have to entertain it somehow. So you have a little blow-up pool, and it's like having a little kid. And you throw it out there, and it's playing with the... I just think this is a really fun card. Really cool, really fun card. Love it. The next one, so the last one on this list, honestly, I'm not super familiar with Mousehold. It's a cute Pokemon. This artwork looks like it's beautiful artwork. I think it's really great. It's the colors are really pretty, especially against the all-white Mousehold. But this is one of those cards. So if we go back even 6 months ago, you can see this card was selling for $12, $13. A lot of the cards I have that remind me of this is that somewhere between the $10 and $20 price range, and we're looking at $33, almost $34 right now. I think that's a little steep for this card. Me personally, once again, a Pokemon that doesn't really do anything for me. I wouldn't be looking to collect this card, but there's many of you out there that are looking to collect this card. This is hard for me to say. My opinion is that $30, $35, $34 is a little high for this card. I would say this card is more in that $10 to $20 range, but that's just speculation on my part. I could also see this card, because I'm wrong about many things, I could also see this card going as much as one day like $100. Do I think that's realistic? No, but we also did just see a Drowsy card going for $70, $80. Persian that was going for around the same price. It was getting up there. The Jesse James is holding pretty steady at $40 to $50. I think the Jesse James card is really cool. The Persian, I'm a cat person, so I think the Persian is really cool artwork, but I also understand that the Persian probably falls into this category of type of card for me as well. I could see the Persian being a $15 to $25, maybe $30 card. And the same thing with the Drowsy. That was just, I think, a lot of manipulation going on there. Fun artwork, but I think we're getting away from like the newer singles. So I hope that was kind of an eye-opener for some people. I don't really dive too deep. This is the first time doing that. There's more information I could give. If that's something you would like to see, let me know. Leave a comment down below if this is something that you'd like to see on the channel and you just want rips. Once again, kind of hard to get packs right now. That's pretty difficult. So I would like to maybe try to do this like once a week. We can do like biggest losers, biggest winners. We can do a bunch of different things, maybe boxes, where they're at, different packs and different sets, what those prizes are going for. But just let me know. Leave some comments below and let me know where you guys would like to see, if you would like to see more content like this. And that's it for today. I really appreciate it. Please make sure you're subscribing. Please turn on notifications and like the video. Once again, thank you so much, everybody that's watching. If you didn't catch it in the last video, left it in the comments for the winner of that box giveaway, the Houndstone EX box giveaway. So take a look, and that's it for this week. Thanks. Bye.